debate tonight, Tehseen Poonawalla, national spokesperson of the BJP, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate, Abbas Haider, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Anirban Banerjee, political analyst, supports the Trinamool Congress, Abdul Razak Khan, member of the Karnataka Waqf Board. But my first question goes to Tehseen Poonawalla, petitioner on CAA and a Congress supporter. And Tehseen Poonawalla, what kind of hypocrisy is this? First, it is the Congress that actually brought out the Liaquat Pact, Nehru, which said that justice should be given to those, even after partition, who wanted to come back at a later date, and that they should be given, all those minorities should be given shelter in India, and there should be rights for them, citizenship for them. And then more recently, well, Prakash Karat wrote to the Home Minister. There was Dr. Manmohan Singh who wrote to the Home Minister, made a statement in Parliament in 2003. Ashok Gehlot wrote a letter asking for CAA as a Qanun to get in and give shelter and citizenship rights to all those who came into Rajasthan from Pakistan. And in Assam, who made the detention centers, who wanted the foreigners to be deported. Why suddenly is the Congress party suddenly playing a game of they don't know anything and we are very innocent people?
Namaskar, Anarkaji. Thank you for your question. There are three aspects I would like to put before you. But first, thank you for acknowledging the Nehru Liaquat Pact, against which Shyama Prasad Mukherjee resigned. I would hope the BJP spokesperson acknowledges what a mistake Shyama Prasad Mukherjee made. The Nehru Liaquat Pact was the right moral thing to do, to give citizenship to Indians who had moved to Pakistan and wanted to come back in undivided India. Therefore, we then had Article 6 of the Constitution that gives the Union government the power to give anyone born in undivided India citizenship at an expedited stage. So that's not a debate. That law already exists. What CAA is against, what I have challenged, is on three prima facie issues. First, through your medium, I want to tell Indian citizens, CAA is not against Indian Muslims. It does not take away citizenship of Indian Muslims. In fact, it discriminates against Hindus. Allow me to tell you why. One, there is a vague date of 31st December 2014. It may have sounded good in somebody's head, just like demonetization sounded good. It has no basis in legal jurisprudence. Why 31st December 2014? Number two, the second ground I've challenged it is prima facie ultra vires of the Constitution, because let's assume a refugee, a Hindu refugee from Myanmar, which was a part of undivided India, were to come into India, a Rohingya refugee. Under CAA, he cannot get or she cannot get citizenship, but somebody who's migrated before 31st December from, say, persecuted from Afghanistan and has migrated into India can get. So this is prima facie against Hindus itself who have migrated. Number three, I would expand the scope of citizenship for everybody, which the union government has right. So why not Tamilian Hindus? Why
elementary,
not
my dear Watson. Elementary, my dear Watson. One minute. May I intervene, because you're making a fallacy. You can complete it, but you're making a fallacy, sure. And let me bring out the fallacious point that you're making.
Sure, but allow me to rebut it.
You are saying that why not Myanmar, why not Tamils, etc., etc. Yeah. The fact is that this was assured in 1946 and 47 as a result of partition. In fact,
correct.
This promise only deals with the scourge of
yes.
partition and with the problems that those
Excellent.
who were impacted by partition, that is being done 75 years later. Something that should have been done by the Congress party is now being done 75 years later. Who knows the rest that you are worried about will also come in at a later date. Tehseen Poonawalla.
Correct. You've actually made my point. Thank you so much. You actually made my point, because I take your point very seriously. You've read this, you made my point. Therefore, this is unconstitutional, and I'll tell you why. Because if it only dealt with partition, then Myanmar should have come in, not Afghanistan. When was Afghanistan a part of India? Please don't interrupt me. Please don't interrupt me. So Afghanistan is being put in a vague way, not Myanmar. In undivided India was Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Myanmar. You've kept Myanmar out and you've got Afghanistan. Why?
All right. Tehseen Poonawalla responding to your charge. Tehseen Poonawalla is responding to your charge.
Just one line and I will end. Just one line, Shehzad. Can Shehzad show me where in the law or in the rules religious persecution is written? Show me that. Not the intent that the government put in the draft. I'm saying the law and in the rules. Okay. It's not written.
Okay. Shehzad is responding. Take a deep breath. Shehzad is responding.
Jai Shri Ram, Ramazan Mubarak, and I will answer official and unofficial Congress propaganda on this. Both official and unofficial. Only request Tehseen will not interrupt because I heard all his statements out. Now let's start with the unofficial propaganda against this law. Tehseen Poonawalla says that why not for Tamilians? Tehseen Poonawalla, in 1990s, we had one arrangement only for Tamilians from Sri Lanka. So was that discriminatory to Muslims then? In 1950s, Tehseen Poonawalla, we had an arrangement only for Nepalis. So was it discriminatory to other countries that were not part of the so-called civilizational heritage of India? So that is the answer to that, point number one. Point number two, Tehseen Poonawalla, you have asked about cutoff date and it being unconstitutional. This is the 2003 report, which was a parliamentary report, but it was, date is 2003, but it is actually headed by Pranab Mukherjee, has Kapil Sibal, and please hear, Navika, very carefully the recommendations of that report. Indian citizenship should be granted to Bangladeshi and Pakistani minority refugees. Identity cards should also be given to them. Citizens should be only granted to Bangladeshi minority refugees and not refugees belonging to majority community. This is the statement and the recommendation of that. 2003, you have rightly pointed out that Manmohan Singh, as opposition leader, demanded this law be applied. After that, in 2005 and 2006 and 7, the UPA government actually implemented it partly where Pakistani Hindus were allowed to settle in Rajasthan and Gujarat. For 2 years, they have allowed that. Now, was that unconstitutional? Was that not to the entire scope? And by the way, if this is dividing or this is divisive, then Mahatma Gandhi, when the country was partitioned, had advocated that Hindus, Sikhs and others who have been left there, if they want to ever come back, they should come back. So are you saying Mahatma Gandhi is also divisive? And your own ally Uddhav Sena is supporting this. So are they also supporting something illegal and divisive? And now let me come to the other points that he has been made. He says that what about the Rohingyas that have come? By the way, these are the same people who say that the resources are going to be, आम आदमी पार्टी का एक अनोखा आर्गुमेंट है. They are saying कि हमारे यहाँ पे जॉब्स जो है वो क्या इनको दे देंगे, हिंदूज को दे देंगे. वाह भाई, अमानतुल्लाह खान और ताहिर हुसैन ने रोहिंग्याओं के नाम पर दंगे करवा दिए, उनको नल के कनेक्शन दे दिए, तो वो आपके दामाद थे क्या? रोहिंग्याओं के लिए इतना दिल धड़कता है. और फिर लास्ट स्टेटमेंट ऑफ तहसीन पूनावाला, दिस इज अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल. तहसीन, triple talaq law was passed by asked by Supreme Court, will be constitutional. UCC is in part of constitution. Why is Congress opposing triple talaq law, Shah Banu judgment which came from Supreme Court, UCC law which was been advocated by the Congress people, it is part of the constitution, and this is all constitutional stuff which you will oppose, and this is unconstitutional what government is doing, which was actually spoken of once upon a time by Manmohan Singh and Mahatma Gandhi.
Well, let me get in Anirban Banerjee. Let me get in Anirban Banerjee.
Just one line. Just give me one line. I won't speak more than that. Shehzad completely misled everyone once again. Not just Nepal and Sri Lanka, even Uganda, a special law was made under Indira Ji. And you defeat your own argument because those laws did not specify religion. So again, you defeat your own argument when you make arguments. Neither did you speak about a date, nor did you speak about why Myanmar is not included and Afghanistan is included. You're defeating your argument and why religious persecution, not in the law or in the rule.
All right,
now let me answer this point.
Response coming in.
Because in Uganda, when the persecution happened, it did not happen against Hindus or Muslims, it happened against all Indians. In Tamil, in Sri Lanka, the persecution happened on the language basis Tamil. So Tamil was specified. In Nepal also, it was an arrangement made for all Nepalis, but they are predominantly Hindu. But in this case, the country was divided on which lines by Nehruji? On religious lines.
By Nehruji.
What is the 1 second, don't interrupt. What is the persecution? Tehseen, don't interrupt. Tehseen, I request you. I did not interrupt you. Do not interrupt. You say in your point time. Don't waste, Tehseen. This is not fair. This is not fair. Tehseen, which lines was the country divided in?